Hello, welcome to the Doctors Who podcast. Tonight we're covering part 4 of the Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. On the heels of Elend not winning his kingship back and being attacked by outside forces, Vin is injured, which leads Elend himself to go visit the Koloss camp. Possibly ill-advised, but still makes for some good drama. Upon Vin regaining her strength, she ultimately is drawn into a duel with Zane, which leads her to a very disheartening discovery. And lastly, Sazed and Tindwyl start digging into the archival material that they've unearthed and consider the Deepness as well as who the hero of ages might actually be. All this and more coming up next. Hi, we are the Doctors Who podcast. My name is Chris.
My name's Chip.
My name is Brian.
And like we said, this is part 4. Let's jump right in. Tell us what you like, Chip. For the record, I've been drinking for like an hour and a half.
Have you really? Wow.
That's impressive.
Good job. I've got to go back and remember. It's been a while since I read this part. But the thing that stuck out to me was just how the relationship between Vin and Orsor and her kind of ability to win him over and learn a lot about the Kandra, kind of learn some strengths, weaknesses, where they came from, that then plays out just a couple chapters later, towards the end of this part, when she's in the battle with Zane, and it turns out that Orsor is indeed the spy. Tensoon, I think, is the name of the Kandra then. But even in that battle, he's still kind of letting her know how she could win, or helping her along, and ends up, she does take Zane out. But I just thought that whole relationship of her and the Kandra was just kind of interesting, and how it all came full circle in this part.
Well, it's been fascinating from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering especially where Vin's mentality was at the beginning of the book. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I would say that this whole section it feels very much to me like a character growth section. We have these different periods of climbing up with the plot. Like here, we move forward with the plot for sure, but we're also getting a lot more character depth. We're seeing the payoff out of the relationship between Vin and Orsor. We're seeing, kind of that unique relationship reemerging between Tindwyl and Sazed. We're seeing the former king come into his own in the visit to the Koloss camp.
Well, even the relationship between Vin and Zane undergoes changes here.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And
Zane and his father, and Straff. And
it just feels like there's a lot of emotional drama with this particular section. And so I liked it from that perspective. I feel like there is still some shuffling around. Like, this was a necessary step in order to get some of these players where Sanderson wants them before the Sanderlanche happens, presumably in the next 100 pages. I'm guessing when it will start.
Sure.
So
yeah.
It feels like a pretty good ramp up. It was a little slow at times, but I think the character development more than made up for it.
So, one of the favorite parts of this whole book for me has been the Vin Orsor relationship. And both of you kind of touched on that, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time. But what I do like is them starting to dive back into these past events that got them to where they are now, like the hero of ages, the Deepness, what the Lord Ruler did versus what he should have done. So that's part of the book that I feel has been very intriguing, and even in the first book, going through and finding out that, the Lord Ruler, I forget what his name was, it starts with an R.
Rashek,
thank you.
There you go.
How, he actually killed who was supposed to be the hero of ages, right? And so to revisit some of that and learn some more about it and uncover some new twists is fun, and I'm sure that's going to be a lot of the next section. So that's kind of what I was thinking. But jumping in, Elend does something pretty unexpected. He's
almost
usually
out of character for him.
Yeah, because he's usually political. He's
strategist.
If you're like, if you're familiar with Wheel of Time, it's like the game of houses almost.
Yeah.
He knows how to politic, and he knows how to, but he doesn't do it to be deceptive because he's very altruistic and honorable and too nice for his own damn good. But him like deciding to just go off into the Koloss camp was just like.
But I think this is coming off the heels of what he saw Vin do. He's in love with Vin, and remember, in remembering kind of the reading, he actually had a moment where he looked at Vin and he like kind of shivered to himself.
Yeah, because the last part kind of ended with her basically tearing these people apart, and then
shreds.
She's very concerned about how Elend's going to see her now,
and he's probably concerned with how she's going to see him, because if she can do that, what hope does he have to be with her? So this is almost his affectionate way to try to relate to her, I'm guessing.
Well, is it kind of that just... So I'm going to take myself back to being a teenager, which was a while ago. Not as long as it was for Chip, but a while ago.
With you, though.
Jeez.
Don't take me
and
with you.
you've like got a girl that you really like, and you have this uncertainty whether she would even like consider you, and then like you intentionally try to do things that might bring you closer to where she is, or things like that. I don't know. Am I making any sense?
Too much.
Do I have to cut this part out? No. But that's what it felt like. Yeah. That's what it felt like. He's like, after seeing that, he's like, I can do that too. I'm gonna make her proud of me. I'm a freaking idiot, but I'm gonna make her proud of me.
Yep.
I may get killed trying.
And just the dumb lack of realization that she already loves him.
Yeah. Pretty unconditionally.
Right. So. Yeah.
But she has a hard time expressing it, which is it's kind of interesting that
consider her past though, right?
But this is like a nice twist on the usually it's the guy in most stories where like the knight in shining armor is like, well, I don't really know about this. I'm gonna drag my feet on this, but Sanderson does a nice job. I will say his writing for a female lead character is pretty good.
It is. It's, as much as I love the Wheel of Time, he does a lot better with female characters than Jordan does. Jordan is great at world building.
I bet Matt or Perrin would know better how to deal with Vin than Elend does.
But like as far as like character developments, there are definitely tropes that Robert Jordan gets stuck in and cannot find his way out.
There's a lot of folding of hands under breasts and Wheel of Time.
Yes.
Vin is yet to pull on a braid.
No, that's true too.
So, but I'm reading back through that series and I'm on book 8 and I'm just frustrated with just some of the characterizations that just don't change. And anyway, digressing,
that's
Sanderson handles it better.
Yes.
I still love Robert Jordan. I still love Wheel of Time, but
sometimes
I mean clearly, right?
Right.
So, but I don't know, like Vin's past and just like the life she came from and the things she endured, I can see why opening up is not her strong suit.
Oh, for sure.
So.
It was there
was an awkward pause.
Was it pregnant?
You shattered it.
I'm sorry. I was going to go back to the title Knives of this section, and I was hypothesizing what knives could mean, if it was maybe in the literal sense, like if it was supposed to be. So we know that and I keep wanting to say Sis Knife, but that was definitely...
Chris Knife.
Chris Knife. That was definitely Dune. But the knife is a favorite weapon of the Mistborn, right? And so it could have implied a literal duel of the Mistborns, or if it was... I don't know if you could say that maybe it was the cutting of severing of ties, or if it was like more like metaphorical and not literal.
That's because there was some of that with Zane and Straff, and then Zane and Vin. I almost said Zane and Zin. which might be the name of a wine.
I was gonna say that
Sounds like
a
it could be.
Yeah. Brandon Sanderson, if you're watching this,
It's an idea.
marketing opportunity. You're
Zen
welcome.
and Zane.
The Zane's in.
Could be like the double edge of a knife too, where you've got Orzer
Oh,
and
that could be.
Tensoon.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, both sides of the blade, but
Yeah. I really like, though, I this kind of like side relationship between Sazed and Tindwyl.
Mm-hmm.
Tindwyl?
Tindwyl.
There's a W in there.
Yep.
And it doesn't get a lot of page time, but
Mhm.
you can kind of see and feel that bond
Mm-hmm.
between them, and how you can tell just from the dialogue that they've got the history, and because Sazed believes something or has faith in something, you see her kind of getting pulled along. For someone who is so pragmatic and practical and logical,
Mm-hmm.
it's also, we talked about it, character development.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Were you okay with Orzer being the spy?
no,
I wasn't either.
no,
I felt like that was
He
almost
was-
a cop out.
he was my favorite character in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, still is, because he ended up.
Well, he's still kind of the same Khandra,
Mm-hmm.
whatever name they call him, but
Yeah.
yeah, I just didn't like that. They'd set everything up. Oh, it's got to be one of the crew members. It's got to be
Uh-huh.
this,
Right.
and they're going through all this investigation, and he was there the whole time, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like we had any indications before this scene
There
that
was
it was really
nothing
him.
that would lead you to believe. Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Because in your mind, does a good mystery whodunit
Mhm.
involve like planting subtle clues
Yeah.
along the way? Okay,
Yeah.
I can see
Good
that.
Agatha Christie.
Oh, for sure.
Alicia just read one of hers and said that
And then there were none.
it was so satisfying, and
Mhm.
she never
Yeah.
saw it coming.
Yep.
Because you two had read it, you
Yes.
and your
Yeah,
wife,
because
right?
Brian
Yeah.
was talking about
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I just felt like that was not well done. I liked most of the book except that part just
Sure.
kind of
and I don't
bothered me.
read mysteries, so that never occurred to me to
Mm-hmm.
look for peppered clues. And usually, I miss clues anyway.
But even so,
You know,
there
because
weren't.
I get through life on my good looks,
Yeah.
not my brains.
But it did feel. It did feel a little
Magnum.
sudden.
Why male models?
I'm just a hand model. Gloom.
He's googly.
I just think the. So I think what Sanderson was probably trying to get at was, like, let's not kill off one of the main crew. Like, let's have someone else
Sure.
who's not going to be impacted here. But at the same
Well-
time, she still developed a relationship with him, and she spent the majority of this book with him.
Right. The fact that the majority of the book, him was not actually him,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
but we did see that relationship develop, and to the point where he basically went back on the contract.
Well, she won him over.
Yeah.
Mhm.
By the end.
Yeah. And I think that's huge. That
Mhm.
says so much for the Khandra, who to them the contract,
contract
is
is
life.
everything.
That's there's nothing else.
Mhm.
Right.
So I thought that was just pretty amazing, because when we first got to that point, I was just like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
oh no. So, but now Zane is dead, and they've made the decision that they're gonna pop off and try to find the Well
Elend
of
and Ben are
Ascension.
going to go north to Terrace, isn't it, to find the Well
Yep.
of Ascension?
Yeah, yep. Which kind of sets up our final act for the book, doesn't it?
I think
Final
so.
2 acts. We have 5 and 6.
Okay, great.
But
sure.
But even still, this is the title of the book, The Well of Ascension. So
Mhm.
we're
we
just
knew it was coming at some point.
right.
Just didn't know how, where, why, or why. You know,
Although
how, where, why.
when,
Who, what,
who-
where, when.
Yes, when.
Yes.
There, yeah, that one. Yep.
I will-
Wherefore?
I will say
Wherefore
that
art thou, Romeo?
if you had asked me at the very beginning of this book, well, not at the beginning, but if you had asked me probably 10 chapters in, I would have told you, I probably would have bet $50 it was going to be an ultimate fight at the end between Zane and Vin.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised they killed off Vin.
Zane.
Mm.
Sorry, that Vin
They
Vin
did
killed
not-
off
That would have been a
Ben.
George R. R.
Oh.
Martin move to kill
Oof.
off Ben halfway through her series.
Do not get me started on that guy.
Oof. So I just was really surprised that they killed him off this early. Like, I still felt like it was maybe a little premature.
Well, like, I felt like there was a lot more to unpack there. Like, what was this voice that he was hearing?
Mm-hmm. The voice of God is what he called it.
Right, but was he truly insane, or was it something else?
Yeah. You do wonder.
So, yeah. It'll be interesting to see where the next part takes us.
Yeah, agreed.
In the meantime, we would love to thank you for tuning in, for following along with our conversation. We invite you to use the comment section. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, if we misunderstood something, because occasionally that does happen. Again, remember, I'm here for my looks. Please hit the like button. We recommend you subscribe to the page and hit that bell notification so that when we post new content, you get notified. And we will see you next time as we continue on through the Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I almost said Brandon Anderson.
Oh.
I don't know where that would have come from.
I wonder if he gets that a lot.
Probably not. Anyway, in
His
the
books
meantime,
would be a lot higher on the bookshelves in the bookstore if it was Anderson.
That's true, yeah. Brian, would you finish us off, please?
Oh, until next time. Alonzi.